And welcome to The Watchman from Jerusalem. Last week, we brought you part one of our special series from the city of David, ancient Jerusalem, on the top 10 archaeological discoveries that prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the ancient biblical Jewish claim to this holy city. Why are we doing this? Well, a lot of influential people today, including at the UN, are attempting to rewrite history and deny the Jewish historical claim to places like the Temple Mount and the Western Wall. They say that Israel illegally occupies these sites. Well, with the help of our good friend, Zev Orenstein, the City of David's Director of International Affairs, we're bringing you the irrefutable truth about Jerusalem and its ancient role as Israel's eternal capital. Now we're going in descending order here. In part one, we hit on number 10 through 6, and this week we're starting at number 5 and working our way up to number 1, the number 1 archaeological discovery that proves the ancient Jewish claim to Jerusalem. Well, Zev, my friend, we are back here at the amazing City of David, and I have to say, I didn't think it could get any better than it did in part one, but we're now at number 5. Number 5 on our list of the top 10 archaeological discoveries that prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the Jewish claim and heritage to the city of Jerusalem. We're on the march now to number 1, but let's start here at number 5, Zev. What do we have?
For number 5, we have to go back to the year 1880. 1880, a small Arab child is walking through a dark tunnel filled with water being drawn from the Gihon spring, the spring that has been flowing for thousands of years, going back to the time of Abraham all the way till today. And this boy is walking through the tunnel. And he gets about halfway through the tunnel. It's dark, maybe he has a small candle. He has his hands on the wall, and at a certain point he feels a stone that is cut into the tunnel wall. And he realizes it is an inscription. And archaeologists come, it's during the time that the Ottomans are here, they pull it out, and there is ancient Hebrew writing on this inscription. And it recounts a story of 2 teams of engineers who were engineering a tunnel 533 meters in length. And it tells the story of the moment that these 2 teams, some 2,700 years ago, when they meet in the middle. Now keep in mind, no GPS, no radar, and somehow these 2 teams of engineers make it work. But what's the significance of the tunnel? Well, for that we need the Bible.
Whose tunnel was this?
That's what the Bible's going to tell us. If you look in 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, the book of Isaiah, it tells the story when the Assyrians, they've exiled the kingdom of Israel, and now they come for the kingdom of Judah. And they've gone through city after city, Lachish and all the others. And all that's left is Jerusalem.
The major prize, the capital city, Jerusalem.
Right. Exactly. Hezekiah is the king. And Hezekiah says in the Bible, why should the Assyrians come to Jerusalem and find much water? The water is situated outside the walls of the city. Hezekiah says we need to divert the spring to flow entirely within the walls of Jerusalem. And so they engineer this project. And here is the moment, engraved in stone, for you to see the moment when the 2 teams of diggers, they come and they meet each other and they embrace and they celebrate. And this says in ancient Hebrew script, oh my God, we did it.
We did it.
We did it. This was a watershed moment. Literally, the future that we are living today was hanging in the balance. And the archaeology and the Bible come together to tell this amazing story that was, in fact, real.
Yeah, Zev, when you have archaeology, the Bible, that is an unbeatable combination, and you have that in great, great detail here at the City of David. I can't believe this isn't number 1, but we are heading now to number 4 on our march to the number one discovery proving that Jewish claim to this great city of Jerusalem. Zev, let's go.
Let's go.
Well, Zev, it's time for number 4, and this is an exciting one. It's one of the most, I'd say, important stories in the Old Testament involving the life of the mighty prophet Jeremiah.
That's right. Where we're standing right now is a spot that archaeologists believe was likely the royal government center of the Davidic dynasty, the original Capitol Hill, if you will. This is also a spot that some archaeologists believe could have been the location of King David's palace. But the story we're going to tell about what happened over here and what was found here is not from the time of David, but from the end of the Davidic dynasty, the very end of First Temple Jerusalem. About 8 years ago, excavating right over here was an archaeologist named Dr. Eilat Mazar. And she discovers something that changes the way how people relate to where we're standing right now here in the city of David, as well as how many people will relate to this book over here, to the Bible. Dr. Mazar discovers 2 clay seal impressions. Something that you would have used to, in ancient times, seal a letter, so that you would know when you received the document if anyone had read your mail or not. And on this clay seal, you would take your ring, put it into the seal, and stamp your name on it. She finds these 2 impressions, and on the impressions there are names. And she says there are names from the Bible. But before I tell you what the names are, let's put it into a bit of historical context. To go back to 40 years before the destruction of Jerusalem by the Babylonians, we're talking about 586 before the Common Era. 40 years before that, there's a young man, 13 years old. His name is Jeremiah. He's a prophet. He's walking around the streets of ancient Jerusalem telling any who will listen, and there are very few. The city of Jerusalem has become corrupted. You've abandoned the teachings of God. You're not treating the poor with mercy, widows and orphans with kindness. If you don't change your ways, Jerusalem is going to be destroyed. But nobody wants to listen to him. The Bible says that they mock him, they laugh at him, they scorn him. Nobody wants to hear until years go by. One day the people wake up, they look outside the window, and they see the entire city surrounded by the Babylonian armies.
The forces of King Nebuchadnezzar.
The one and only. And now Jeremiah goes to the king, King Zedekiah. And he says to Zedekiah, it is too late to save Jerusalem. But if you tell the soldiers defending the city to lay down their arms, if you, King Zedekiah, tell the soldiers defending the capital to open the gates to the enemy, then you, Zedekiah, you and your family will be saved.
Something tells me Zedekiah did not.
He did not heed Jeremiah's warning. But think about this. Here is Jeremiah threatening the king's family, calling for the surrender of the capital city, Jerusalem. What do you call a person like that? He's a traitor. The people want to kill Jeremiah.
How dare he question the authority of the king?
That's right. And call for the destruction, saying Jerusalem's going to be destroyed. It's God's city.
The capital city, God's city.
And so if you look in Jeremiah 38, it starts off talking about 4 ministers of King Zedekiah. It says, Shephatiah the son of Matan, Gedaliah the son of Pashhur, Juchal the son of Shlemiah, and Pashhur the son of Malchiah heard what Jeremiah was saying to all the people. Then these officials said to the king, let that man Jeremiah be put to death. Now you ready for the discovery? Dr. Mazar is excavating here 8 years ago. She finds 2 clay seals, and she says there are names on the seals, and the names on the seals appear in the Bible. But not only do the names on the seals appear in the Bible, they appear in the same book of the Bible, the book of Jeremiah. Not only the same book, the same chapter, Jeremiah 38. Not only do the names on the seals found where we're standing 8 years ago, right over here, appear in the same chapter, they appear in the same verse, Jeremiah 38, verse 1. And not only do they appear in the same verse, they appear in that verse back to back, one name right after the other. What are the names on the seals? You have Gedaliah son of Pashhur, Juchal son of Shlemiah, 2 of the 4 ministers of King Zedekiah who plotted to kill the prophet Jeremiah. Found where we're standing right now 8 years ago, in a spot that 10 years ago was all underground.
Wow. I don't know how much better it can get, but we're creeping a little bit closer to number 1. It's on right now to number 3. Let's go, Zeb.
Let's go.